New Member of Parliament Reyat Peterson says he has found his way back home and is ready to represent his country. Minister of Health and Labour Pamela Gordon-Carty says that the practice of not hiring locals has to stop. But first up, Deputy Prime Minister Christopher Waver gives an update to the Prime Minister's recent trip to Holland. Those are the headlines for Wednesday, February the 12th, 2020. This is SXM Daily News. I'm Valerie Van Putten. Now for the details. Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs and Minister of Finance Ardwell Edion head to the Netherlands. The announcement was made by Minister of Romy and Deputy Prime Minister Christopher Waver, who also announced that Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs met with Carnival Corporation Vice President Marie McKenzie and Director of Port Development and AMP Operations Alexander Gums.
I would like to state that the Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs and the Minister of Finance Mr. Ardwell Edion traveled to the Netherlands jointly. On Monday evening, Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs and Minister of Finance Ardwell Edion jointly traveled to the Netherlands to partake in a series of meetings with several government officials. These meetings will include discussions with Minister of Interior and Kingdom Relations, Mr. Raymond Knops, and discussions with St. Maarten representatives in the Kingdom Council of States, Maria van der Sluis-Plans. Additionally, Prime Minister Jacobs will also attend the Kingdom Council of Ministers meetings scheduled for this coming Friday, together with the Minister of Plenipotentiary, Mr. René Violinis. During these important meetings, amongst other pressing matters, the ministers planned on presenting the position of the Government of St. Maarten in relation to the matter of the request for liquidity support for 2018 and 2019. Secondly, this past week, in her capacity as Prime Minister, Ms. Sylvia Jacobs met with Carnival Corporation Vice President of Global Ports and Caribbean Government Relations, Marie McKenzie, and Director of Port Development and AMP Operations, Mr. Alexander Gums. They discuss where the possibilities for St. Maarten to diversify the experience for visitors and to create more cultural and ecological attractions on the island. The Prime Minister also was invited as a guest at the event hosted by the President of the Collectivité of St. Maarten, Mr. Daniel Gibbs, at La Semana. This event was attended by government officials representing 9 French territories. The event was a kickoff for the conference of the presidents of the outermost regions of the Europe, hosted by French St. Maarten. The representatives of the nine territories have confirmed their commitment to work together to preserve the interests of the overseas in Europe and are part of full support of the new presidency carried out by the Mayotte Department. At the event, Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs was able to network and engage in discussions with the various government officials and assured President Gibbs that the government of St. Maarten continues to be in full support of the development of our northern partners, where cooperation may be needed. Last week, Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs had a fruitful discussion with the Committee of Civil Servants Union, CCSU, board, and their members along with the APS representatives. During the meeting, the union was able to give an update on the position of the CCSU members in regards to pension reform, the firemen, and the function book. The meeting was aimed at discussing the legislation as it is now and determining the way forward. In doing so, Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs and CCSU agreed to continue discussions with their board and its members.
Minister of Public Health, Labour and Social Affairs, Pamela Gordon-Carty, spoke of the latest developments with regards to the policy of Article 6 which deals with giving locals a fair chance of getting employment on the island. According to the minister, businesses need to stop the practice of hiring foreigners and give locals a fair chance to apply for vacancies at the various local businesses.
Latest developments regarding the policy of Article 6 that was also published in the newspaper, which we are basically trying to guarantee as much as possible that the locals get a fair chance for any vacancies on the market of St. Martin. I have to mention also with this point that I got an email yesterday, well, basically today, this morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. I will not mention the name of the company, but it's stating that they are unable to find skilled personnel for the following capacity: 4 salesperson, 3 delivery preparation persons, 2 cleaners, 2 pastry cook, and 2 bakers. I find it highly unlikely that we can get these people on the local market. We know St. Martiners are cookers. They are good cooks. Cleaners, you don't need skilled personnel for a cleaning position. Pastry cook, I can understand if you want something specific. Delivery and preparation persons, I don't know what they mean with this. These are names that are being created to justify why people are looking for work permits and why we have to continue signing work permits. Salesperson. I cannot believe that we don't have local salesperson. And like these, you have other selective groups that will continue sending these type of emails to prove something that I do not stand for. We have sufficient locals on the market that can do these type of jobs. I have encountered during my tenure a lot of work permits coming on my desk with different type of names that are being invented. And when you see what is the capacity of the function, it's just maybe a simple function that you're supposed to give it a different name. People, let's just stop it. I want to address the public right now and the business community. Stop. Let's give the locals a fair chance to get and fill in the positions, just like how for years we have been given a lot of work permits. I think it's time right about now for everybody together to cooperate and give the locals a fair chance to apply for the vacancies at the different locations and businesses.
United Democrats Member of Parliament, Cyril Williams, questions government on Parliament's motion to reduce salaries and costs of Parliament members. With the 2020 draft budget on its way to the CFT, the question begs, what is the 2020 budget of the country all about? What will we see in the budget that addresses the most pressing needs of the people of St. Martin? That was MP Westcott's response to the news that the 2020 draft budget was sent to CFT. Yes, there is a procedure involved, but at the end of the day, there is only so much maneuvering space and no more. The opportunity, therefore, is now to have the discussions on the more fundamental issues such as healthcare, pensions, taxes, immigration, labor, etc. The budget is one of the most important tools and rights of Parliament and should be treated as such. In the meantime, however, Parliament can be proactive in its vetting of budget-related issues, such as the financial state of our government-owned companies. I will therefore be requesting that the latest financials of these companies be sent to Parliament for scrutiny as soon as possible. I have also asked for the government to state its position on the approved motion of Parliament regarding the reduction in salaries and benefits of members of Parliament. This motion specifically calls for those cuts to be made in the budget 2020, and the question is whether this has been done. And still to come, incoming Member of Parliament Omar Otley says he is the epitome of determination, and now is the time for change. We'll have the details of that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEB.
Warning of dangerous games being played at schools. The police have taken note of a very dangerous game taking place on and around the school premises of St. Martin. What students call the skull breaker or jump. This game involves 3 or more students standing close together, whereby the one standing in the middle is encouraged to jump as high as possible. The person standing on opposite sides then kicks or pushes the jumper legs out from under them, causing them to fall. The jumper then loses control in the air and comes crashing down to the ground. This can result in this person hitting their head or other parts of their body, causing them serious injury. The St. Martin Police Force, KPSM, is very concerned about this dangerous game and encourages parents and guardians to speak to their children about this phenomenon and convince them not to participate in these challenges. Those organizing or participating in this game should be aware that causing willful bodily harm to others can have serious legal consequences for all those involved. And in more news, incoming Member of Parliament Omar Otley says he is the epitome of determination. He was probably the last person that anyone would have expected to have run on a list. But now is the time for change. He made the statement at the first parliamentary meeting after they took oath of office on Monday, February the 10th, 2020.
Out of 111 candidates, we are the lucky 15 to be here today. I would like to start off by saying, when you look at me, I think I'm the epitome of determination. I was probably the last person that anyone would expect to be running on a list, and much less to be elected in the fashion that I was elected. I think now is the time for change. I think now is the time that we put our differences aside, like my colleague said. Once we enter the doors, the politics is over. A great politician once said, there's too much politics in politics. If we remove some of the politics in politics, everything would run as it should. With that being said, I would like to send a message to my older colleagues and the younger colleagues and those that are entering with me. If we look at St. Martin, they has wisen up. St. Martin no longer accept the ship jumpers. The results for the election has proven it. Look at the people around. Anyone involved in such activities was not re-elected. So I ask you guys, because I'm in this for the long haul, I'm in this for 4 years, I ask you guys to commit yourself to be in this for the long haul and regain the trust of the people of St. Martin.
I believe that many things were said during the campaign season, but I believe the season is over. The time to work for this country has reached. For me, politics stops at that door. In here, we do the people's business, and that should not be politics. We have a campaign season, and we have a season to do. The season to do has now started this afternoon. I will leave my words on the floor. My actions will speak for me. They will define the person that I am and the politician I hope to be. I have spoken about electoral reform, about animal welfare, about justice, about our port, about legislation and legalization of cannabis, tax reform, and many other things. And I hope that I get the opportunity and support from my members here, my colleagues, to make these things a reality and take Team St. Martin, because that's how I want this parliament to be, a team. No need to fight each other, because the end goal we all want is the same.
And now turning to our weather forecast. Instability due to a mid to upper level trough along the available moisture at the lower level of the atmosphere will cause cloudy periods and showers along the region. The Atlantic high pressure system will continue to generate brisk winds and above normal marine conditions. Small craft operators and sea bathers should continue to exercise caution as seas will continue to peak at 8 feet. Now let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, incoming Member of Parliament Reyat Peterson says he has found his way back home to represent his country. You'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
The other new incoming Member of Parliament from the PFP party, Reyat Peterson, in a powerful speech at the first meeting of Parliament said that his father gave him a compass when he went to further his studies in the Netherlands with the inscription that read, "Never get lost." He has since found his way back home to represent his country, St. Martin, and we can all apply this life lesson to all obstacles that are still to come.
When I was a young man, at 18 years of age, I chose to further my studies in the Netherlands, where, partially thanks to my mother, the field of law caught my immediate attention. It has always been a point of interest for me to fully understand the principles under which our country has been governed. I remember right before I left to study, my father bestowed upon me a gift that I would take to heart forever. He gave me a compass with the simple words engraved on it, "Don't ever get lost." This was meant as a symbol, as a token of good faith and hope that regardless of the obstacles that lie ahead, I would always be able to use this compass to find my way back home. I am glad to say that it worked, and I am happy that I have found my way home to represent our beautiful country, St. Martin. And I believe that we can apply this life lesson to all obstacles that are still to come. It has been an interesting couple of months, to say the least. I want to thank the people of St. Martin once again for placing their trust in these 15 individuals. Without your vote of confidence, none of us would be standing here today, chosen to steer our country forward in these politically thrilling times that are often overshadowed by misinformation, confusion, and emotional hijacking. As we debated issues with our opponents throughout the campaign, I can feel how hard it is for us sometimes to pull back from disputes and place our trust in the goodwill of the other side. As the campaign trail has come to an end and the political tension has lessened, we, as new members of Parliament, must always remember a very important article within our Constitution, which is Article 44. This article states, "De Staten vertegenwoordigen het gehele volk van Sint Maarten." Or, as the English translation states, Parliament shall represent the entire people of Sint Maarten. Liberty cannot be preserved without a general knowledge among the people who have a right from the frame of their nature to knowledge. A quote by historian and politician John Adams. Despite our differences of opinion, which I am sure we will continue to have, we must always remember to work together and set our differences aside as members of Parliament, because this is what's needed to move our country forward. For many years, the people of Sint Maarten have been kept in the dark where transparency was promised, thus feeding into the rhetoric that our country is dependent on the higher branches of government in order to make an informed decision. However, it is our duty to show that this is not the case. It is our duty to show the people of Sint Maarten that by increasing general knowledge and by being fully transparent in our actions and intentions, that our country can only be as strong as the strength reflected in its own people. Without them, there is no us or government. And without all of us coming together, there is no Sint Maarten. The time has come for political maturity. The time has come for us to hold those who we entrust with authority to represent us in the best interest of our country accountable for their actions and intentions. This is what the people of Sint Maarten deserve and expect from their constituents. The time has come to bring back the principle of good governance and to make sure that it is there to stay, regardless of which individuals occupy the seat in the executive branches. Although each one of us stems from a separate political party, with each coming from a different political background, we all agreed this morning to share one common goal: to represent the people of Sint Maarten to their best interest and according to our own conscience. The old ways of politics, where the strings are being pulled in the background by the so-called ghosts of the political arena, has shown us what consequences those bring to our people. It cannot be that this practice remains common, while our people out there are expecting full transparency. I call on all my colleagues to practice what you preached, and if there are any, to let those strings go with the wind and never return. John Quincy Adams, John Adams' eldest son, once said, "Always vote for the principle, though you may vote alone, and you may cherish the sweetest reflection that your vote is never lost." Take pride in being able to say that you voted according to your own conscience, and that you did so with the best interests of the people of Sint Maarten at heart. It is critical for us as members of Parliament to not ever get lost. Let us always listen to our moral compass that will guide us into a new age for our country. Let us always remember why we are placed in the positions entrusted unto us today. We are here to serve the people of Sint Maarten, not our personal selves or solely our political party's interests. Individually, we are all here to work together and represent the entire country of Sint Maarten to the best of our abilities. Let us not forget that, and let's work together to achieve what our beautiful country deserves.
And still to come, author Roland Joan, better known as Bushman, releases his first book. We'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
So I'm one of the nurses of the Emmalin team. We are with 4 nurses. The Emmalin team works mainly outside on the road. We do home visits, whereby we visit clients at home to administer medication, do the follow-up, counseling, whatever.
Eddie, where are you? Come now. Morning, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad.
Good. Easy going, man. What about you?
A little anxious these days.
How come? What happened?
I think somebody trying to kill me.
Okay, you taking your medication?
Yeah.
So, where's your pillbox?
In the house.
You going to get it for me?
Yeah.
The most rewarding aspect for me is the appreciation that I get from clients and family. Yes, we know we would all want a big salary, but that is what counts for me. Well, what I would like the community to know about mental health in general is that it's not a stigma. I noticed on St. Martin that it talk about somebody's crazy. It's not somebody's crazy because a mental illness can be drugs, alcohol induced. It can be a trauma after disaster, which we saw, for example, after Irma. So it can have different reasons. It's not that when you see somebody is behaving different or strange that you say the person is crazy. And besides that, somebody can be treated.
Thank you. Take care.
And in more news, Edification Time, Volume 1, is a collection of blessings, inspiration, insights, motivation, lessons, poems, deep thoughts, peace, and most of all, words of love, written by Roland and Joe, better known as Ras Bushman. The book Edification Times was realized when Dirkje de Jong inspired Roland Joan to create a book of his inspiration and thoughts. The book consists of 25 pictures of depicting different places he has been, whether he has worked, visited, or traveled in the world. The content provides words that lift the spirit to inspire the readers while shedding light on positive energy. Roland Joan presented a copy to the Phillipsburg Jubilee Library in honor of Black History Month with the aim of educating the nation through this writing. I'm Valerie Van Putten. Just a reminder, this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the St. Martin Daily News team, we thank you for watching and plan on meeting you back here again tomorrow.